last week's Friday show, we showed you G. Bush at Lefty's, which is Deshaun Watson's new cheesesteak restaurant in Cleveland Heights. Earl Pearl was also there. We'll get you the full video and the food review, I think, on Wednesday, G, after Rashad's done editing that all for us. But also at Lefty's that day was a taping of the QB Plugged podcast. That's Deshaun Watson and Quincy Avery, That's their podcast. And Kevin Stefanski was a guest on the show. And Deshaun had some comments on Kevin Stefanski that caught my eye. Let's hear it, and then we'll react. And play whenever you're ready.
Say this. I'm going to give you your flowers. Live, Coach. The things that you do for the organization, for this community, but for the locker room. The guys talk about it every day, talk about it all the time. I think that is a big testimony to what you and AB is doing for this organization, for this community, and it's something special. And we talk about it in the locker room, and I think that's why, we go out there every Sunday or whenever we're playing, and we give you 110% because you treat us like men. You give us our flowers when we need to, but also you push us hard enough to go out there on the practice field and compete. And then once we get out there on Sundays, it make it a lot easier.
Well, I appreciate that. And as you know, that locker room that's you. That's right. You guys. That's not my locker room. I trust the leaders in our football team. The things that you do in that locker room, I think it gets lost on people. Everybody sees what goes on Sundays, but man, there is so much hard work. Think about in the meeting room, in the weight room. I mean, that is so much that leads up to those games on Sunday.
And I say this, I'm gonna give you your flowers.
Well, I thought that was about as ringing endorsement as a quarterback can give his head coach. What say you?
Yeah, that was a very eye-opening moment for me. I've had this sense lately in the last few months that maybe Deshaun Watson had been frustrated by Kevin Stefanski, or maybe frustrated with the situation, whether it was Joe Flacco or him having to play more under center, and maybe he had something to do with Kevin Stefanski potentially losing his play calling. And it was, I didn't know that. I'm not saying I knew that to be the case. It was just a feeling I kind of had about the situation. And to hear him talk about Kevin Stefanski, now, it's easy to say, well, he's being a phony. He doesn't really believe that. But what I would say is, if he didn't really believe in Kevin Stefanski, he would have still said something nice for him coming on his podcast. But I don't think he would have gone to that level. The way he talked, Deshaun Watson is not an actor. He's not a professional actor. He's a football player. He couldn't have gone, the way he talked about it, that's real. And how do I know? Because I freaking know. That's how I know. Because I can read people. And you could tell when an athlete's being phony or a coach is being phony. And he was not being phony there. I'm convinced of it. I'm 99.9% certain of it. And I like that he praised Kevin Stefanski to the point where it's like, okay, Jimmy, let's finalize this contract here, because look at what your quarterback just said about your head coach. And that's what you want. And that's what we've never had here in Cleveland, or at least never had it in modern times. And so that was good. Listen, I'm not gonna, it's pretty obvious. I've been down on Deshaun Watson for a couple of months now, after being insanely excited when they traded for him, and insanely excited in the first season, and insanely excited going into the second season. I'm a little down on him right now. I don't feel as confident that he's going to turn it around. And it's just words. It doesn't really mean anything in the grand scheme of things. But for the first time for me in a while, I felt a little better about Deshaun Watson.
I think body language, energy, and passion never lie. So I totally agree with everything you said. You've seen his body language. You can see the passion. You can feel the energy. Shout out to Deshaun Watson. Shout out to everybody that was at the event in University Heights. It was a great event. But for me, when I heard these comments, I watched the entire podcast. The entire 15-minute segment of him and Stefanski going back and forth. We'll go watch it. Phenomenal content right there. I've always had this idea that the reason why I really appreciated Kevin Stefanski being the head coach of the Cleveland Browns is because he's a leader of men. And I feel like that's the most important attribute or intangible that any head coach can have. I think when you get to this level, right, NFL, you're a coach, you're a head coach. I think that everybody that's in those rooms and in those conversations, you might not be the greatest at the X's and O's, but you clearly wouldn't be where you are if you didn't have that skill set. I think we all can agree to that. I think the fan base, sometimes us in the media, we get too bogged down on the X's and O's or the situational play calling. But I can't remember too many times that this Cleveland Browns team is not prepared no matter what the outcome of the game is. We've seen and talked to a lot of players that play for Kevin Stefanski in this current team, and it's a clean-knit group. But the one thing that always stands out to me is all these dudes play hard for Kevin Stefanski. And that's a sign of respect. It clearly is a two-way street. He shows them respect. They show that respect back in return by going out there and busting their ass for him every single game, every single day in practice. And when you just look at the Cleveland Browns as a whole, I think Kevin Stefanski plays a pretty significant part in the culture change, that has taken place here. Yeah. And you just see like so many different players, not just Deshaun Watson, that's willing to give this man his flowers. And like, kudos to him. You definitely need to get that contract extension done and get it done quick, because him being a leader of men is, to me, way more important than the plays that he's calling on his play sheet.
Gee, it's funny. We're waiting for J.B. Bickerstaff and Kobe Altman to get fired, and we're waiting for Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski to get a new contract.
Well, listen, it ain't always been that case. I think I've been the biggest Kevin Stefanski detractor probably in the city. Like, I was, I was like, you got to go with Joe Woods. What are you doing with these D tackles, Andrew Berry? But what I like to do is, as much as you can call people out, there's also times where you get an opportunity to see people what they're really about, and to just deduce it down to a regular, just a man-to-man level. I was at the event and I was watching and seeing how he was moving, and he got I gained a lot of respect for him, and namely because of this. He didn't show up to get his Coach of the Year award, right? His second one. He wasn't at the event, right? And I'm like, man, that's kind of crazy. You didn't come to that. That's weird. Like, most people, that's the pinnacle of the coaching career. And the fact that, like, people like me have always said, like, yo, Coach Stefanski, play calling, this things, he's had his detractors. So normally people will show up and get that award and be like, now shut up, G. Bush. I told you, don't even worry about what I'm doing. I got 2 of these trophies. You know how many people don't got 1? I got 2. But he didn't show up for it. Like, he was like, I don't really care.
Not 1, 2.
He got not but 1, but 2. 2 of these things, 2 of them boys. And guess what? He pulled up to Deshaun Watson's opening of his store because he understood how important it was to support his quarterback. And I got a lot of respect for him because he didn't have to show up to that. Not only did he not have to show up for it, he didn't have to be on the podcast. Not only did he not have to show up and be on the podcast, he didn't have to go and buy no cheesesteaks and take pictures with people. By the way, my wife was, I apologize, Coach Stefanski, my wife was being a creeper. She took a very close picture of your beard. It's like this crazy. I said, bro, get over here. What are you doing?
Do you know women in this city absolutely, no matter the race, women love Kevin Stefanski. So when we seen him grabbing left these cheesesteaks and ushering home, me and G was like, his wife called, said, you better get home right now.
That's right.
You've been out in public too long.
That's right.
He came in, he showed up with the people, and that means he has a level of awareness. He understands that Deshaun Watson,
rocking the Glenville hoodie too.
Yeah, had the Glenville hoodie on too. Knew where he's at. He came through and said, look, I know y'all like Joe Flacco. I know y'all like Flacco, but listen, let me be clear. The Cleveland Browns organization is fully behind Deshaun Watson, and if there was anybody that didn't think so, that's on you. But I'm gonna show up for my guy. And sometimes it's not about how much you do something and what you say. It's about what people do. I had a birthday party and everybody came. Right? Everybody, I
was there. Bull was there.
No,
Earl was there.
The whole city came. I was just like, I was like, now guess what? Most people don't come to stuff unless it's your funeral, and they might not even come to that. So I think that means a lot for Deshaun, and you can see it in his energy. He feels like people now are behind him. And now he can really let's go. Let's play some football now.
Yeah, this is the year. And, I think that was really a positive thing for both coach and player.
Mm-hmm. It was so funny, like, just being there, and, like, me and G was there the entire event. There's a video of my Instagram of me talking to Deshaun Watson off camera without any of this content we took. And everybody kept asking me, like, what was you saying to him because he looked really engaged? I kind of keep that to myself, but I can say this, just being in that environment, talking to the people that I talk to, being around him, getting a chance to have a conversation, perception versus reality when it comes to him is totally different. And I gotta admit, you, Jay, and Jason are right. You know, for us who live in this Twitter universe, we think it's the end all be all, or that certain, you know, section of the population, their opinion is the only opinion that matters. But like, just to hear and just to see firsthand the love that this dude gets in the city of Cleveland. You know, his people talked about how he's always in the city. And like, I even talked to somebody that's a part of his team, showed me like a list of stuff that he's done in the community that us in the media, we've never heard about. You know, he's never been disrespected out in public. Like, he gets a lot of love here. And to know that, it felt good to know, like, this city is really behind this dude and they really supporting him. Meanwhile,
social media is not the real world.
It's not the real world. We sit up here thinking like, okay, like this is what everybody feel. But no, it's not like that at all. It was a lot of love out there, a lot of smiles, a lot of people taking pictures, like him signing autograph. Like, it was just a great experience. And to see the coach, to see the media and the fans pull up and show support for Deshaun Watson, second to none.
And this is the big thing I took away too. And a lot of people in the media might not know. So on this show, when we talk about, you know, Deshaun Watson and what he's going to be, we talk about the ups and the downs and, yeah, I need to see a certain level of this, I need to see that. But you know the crazy thing that stood out to me the most is his whole family was like, oh, no, we watch the show every day.
Shout out to Tyreek Watson, man. That's his little brother.
He watched the show every day.
Me and G sitting there, we eating. He come up, tap us on the shoulder. He gives us some T-shirts, and he was like, you know, I appreciate you. I watch the show every day. And we like, yeah, cool. He like, yeah, I'm Deshaun's little brother. And he's watching us every day. So thanks, man. And like, you know, we had a conversation as well. Like, he a fan of the show, man. And it's good to see that support.
We appreciate it.
It definitely
I'm a
is.
little disappointed when Earl was giving credit to everyone about not living on social media. I had to be the first person to tell Earl that social media is not the end all be all. Earl just left me hanging, though. I've been there for Earl.
Why? McNuggets is a therapist.
I saved him a seat yesterday at the championship game.
I did see
no
y'all.
love in return, man. Come on,
I love you, bro. You know this, man.
I said a long time ago, like, and I still get occasionally pissed off by something on social media, even though I know it's stupid, because I have people that get angry at me all the time, and I've met fans for 13 years now in Cleveland. I've only had one bad interaction in 13 years. I've had hundreds, maybe 1,000, I don't know, good interactions with fans. Even though, you know, sometimes you think your social media, 20% of the people hate your guts.
Yeah.
That's not really
And you know your mama, she gonna she gonna make sure that you ain't talking about it.
Oh, his mama's a sweetheart.
His mother came up, and as soon as we came up, he's like, can you take a picture? I said,
that's cool.
Let me tell Adam the Bull they don't hate him that much.
One other thing for that podcast that I thought was pretty cool, Mike, I'm pretty sure you watched it. It was cool to see Kevin Stefanski kind of relax and take us behind the scenes of some of the things they talked about. Like, we talk a lot on this show about halftime adjustments, right?
Yeah.
And Kevin Stefanski was like, man, if you waiting at halftime to make adjustments, you already behind the 8 ball. And he talked about that him and the coaches, they're all kind of interacting on the headsets 5 minutes before the second quarter ends to get their plan together once they get in the locker room.
Right.
And how they got like
a lot of time.
They got 5 to 10 minutes to spend with these players. They automatically huddle up, bring the whiteboard out, get their plan together for when they come out in the third quarter. And you just see, man, the organization, right? Just the constantly thinking ahead. There is so much about Kevin Stefanski that I absolutely love. That, like, nobody's perfect, no human is perfect, man, but I'm just glad he's the Cleveland Browns head coach.
Well, it's really good that you guys went. I know it was a great experience for you guys, and it seemed like it was a great thing, like, all around. Looks like an awesome place, and that's great. And it's really cool that they watch the show, and they know that, I think, that for the most part, when there's been criticism, and there's been plenty of criticism in the last 6 months, that it's not coming from a place where I want him to fail or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we got. Plus, let's not get it twisted. Like, just the way they got a job to do, we got a job.
That's
to do.
right, 100%. And you can't let your feelings for a player affect how you do your job, or because you want to be friends with a player or whatever.
You got a job to do. I still need 4,500.
Let's go.